Hey guys, Zero here, welcome back to Let's Play RuneScape. I'm just over at my port, just sent off my ships, and I feel like doing a bit of training. I'm geared up to do so. You can see I've got all my flasks and stuff, and you guys know recently I've been training a lot at the Red Spiders, but lately that's been pretty crowded, so I've been using another spot. Why don't we head up there? As you guys know, I've been looking forward to the God Emissaries update. It's supposed to be pretty soon. I mean, I don't exactly know when. Updates are often on Tuesdays. Today is Tuesday, so it might be today, which would be awesome. I'm pretty excited to see what all these guys have to say for themselves. One of the interesting things is that we're still getting the information secondhand. Um, I would always hope that we would get something like the truth, whatever that happens to be. And, oh, hopefully those guys don't come attack me. Nope, they're probably looking for, war bands. Okay, into the rift. I always have to keep my, wits about me in the wilderness, walking around with all this good stuff. Oh, hi guy. Alright, so which way is it? This one? Yeah. I don't come in here very often, so I'm easily confused, especially when the portals don't work right. Oh man, I get so lost. Right. So let's get my prayer on. And I brought along one of these guys. And my vampirism. And potions. I know, just stacked to the gills. I really wanted to test out the new stats and find out what the whole deal is. So far, I'm really liking the new stat update. I mean, it's so clear what chance you have of hitting, right? And then the amount of damage that you're going to do depends on how powerful your weapons are. So I don't know. I really like the new changes. I hope they're happy with them too. Of course, there's going to be some refining in the process, but I think it's turning out great. So whenever I do come here, I like to bring some runes, just because it makes it really easy to alch stuff and whatever. I don't know, this spot you can actually make some good money. The other day, I found 10 palm tree seeds just as a drop. I think it was a rare drop. And they sold for like 1.5 mil. I think they're still in the exchange right now, so that was like a wicked drop. Yeah, not that that's going to happen very often. So right, the God Emissaries. Sorry to get off track. So they're coming out soon, and I hope they're talking about the truth. For the most part, in Sliskay's case, whoever his God Emissary is probably won't know the truth, right? I mean, maybe there will be some guesses, right? And that's fine as long as they're explicit about what they think is a guess and whatever. Once we've got something that we know is the truth to work from, that really allows us to get a more complex storyline that develops on that kind of foundation. We saw that with the origins of Gielinor. Once they gave us this kind of canon truth, about the origins of our world, right? That was helpful. It made it easy to look to other things and try to understand it all. So I hope that's where they're going with this as well. Of course, it's fine for certain characters to lie to us. One that I like to think of is the wise old man. The stories that he tells us about Saradomin and the end of the God Wars and stuff like that. They're not entirely what we've come to believe is a much more accurate version. And Saradomin is interesting, He's very much about order, but I also think he's a little bit Machiavellian and not above taking credit for other people's work. At the end of the World Wakes, for instance, he mentions that this had to happen, like he was expecting it to happen, and I speculated that maybe Sliskay struck up an alliance in order to be able to pass this off and still maintain a certain amount of power if he was ascending to godhood. Well, we've learned since then that probably he's less mindful than that. He might be a bit more reckless, not sure, but there's a lot to consider there. So I'm very excited to hear from his emissaries, see what they have to say. And it might be a lot of speculation, which is fine as long as they tell us. but all of the emissaries are going to be there, 8 of them in fact, except for Guthix. A lot of people have pointed out that, Guthix not having an emissary is a little disappointing. And, I feel for those people, but at the same time, I mean, Guthix was a quitter, right? I mean, he just quit. He says that he could have stopped Sliske, right, from killing him, and he didn't, right? And we have no reason to really doubt that that was the case. He was very powerful, seemed to know that we were coming and never blamed us for all this stuff, and it seemed like he could have stopped it. But he didn't. He gave up. And he saw that as the right thing. And I have to say that I disagree with that. Otherwise, why would he plead with us to stop the gods, to fight the gods for him, right? So that's very curious. I'm not really sure about his final decision to get killed, right? Just move on, go somewhere else, right? If it's really that bad. Oh, my prayer drained all the way down. Just yammering away. So a lot of people might be disappointed to hear me say that, right? That I thought Guthix was kind of naive in a way. Also, think about it. He found this world, right? And for some reason that we don't know yet, he understood that this was a perfect world. Maybe he communicated with the other gods. Maybe he shared in their knowledge somehow. We don't know. Maybe he found something on the world that told him that that was the case. But he knew this place was special, and the elder gods agreed. So, I mean, there was probably little doubt in anyone's mind that this place was important, and yet he just left it wide open for the gods to come in, to take over and to do what they will. I mean, he was very explicit about just bringing in people that were peaceful, right? The dwarves, the elves, the fairies. I don't know if they mentioned the elves. Brought in humans as well. But peaceful creatures, and we can see that in the Origins of Gielinor video. So, except for when they're killing fire giants. But, right, so he knew to bring those people. Why wouldn't he know to protect it? I mean, all of this happened on his watch. He just fell asleep, right? So he was a little bit naive. I don't think that's so unfair to say. So, not so crazy about Guthix. And they say they've worked very, very hard to make each of the perspectives, the philosophies of these gods, a viable option. I'm interested to see that. I don't know. I mean, that is a real challenge, and if they did spend a lot of time, it would not surprise me. So I'm interested to see what these guys have to say for themselves, including the godless one, which is just defending against all the gods. On some level, they're going to have a reason to do that, and I'm not entirely sure if we should be satisfied by these reasons just yet. So I'm very excited to talk to these guys, to hear what they have to say. It should be very cool. One that's interesting to me, more interesting as time goes on, is actually Armadil. This thing about freedom and virtues and stuff like that. And that's very kind of interesting, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, even Zamorak is interesting. I think they all have something interesting to say, but it depends on how they pitch it, right? It's going to be really cool. So I hope you guys are excited about the God Emissaries. I sure am. And that's all I'm going to say on it for now. But probably, maybe today, tomorrow, we're going to get it to check it out, and I'm excited about that. Yeah, also, it's almost the end of the month, so if you have not done your Troll Invasion minigame, make sure to check it out. It's really good XP. I did mine yesterday. It only took me about 10 minutes to do the fighting version, but I've done it before, so I did the hard mode, which is 7 waves long instead of 20. And, it's quick. It only took me 10 minutes to get through, and at level 79, Slayer, I got almost 50k experience, so pretty good XP. If you're higher level, you get more XP. If you're lower level, you get less. But in any case, it's really good. Considering the amount of time it takes. Excuse me. Yeah, so definitely check that out. And then if you like doing it in another week, it's going to be a new month. So you can do it again. One really interesting thing at the end of the most recent behind the scenes video, they mentioned that there's a new dungeon coming. I think this is the long awaited range dungeon. If you go all the way back to something like episode 14, I think it was called Managing Risks. Someone asked me in the comments of that video about a range dungeon, and I actually think that's really cool, you know? Ranged is an awesome, awesome skill. It's not my favorite one. I actually think my favorite is maged, despite the fact that I usually use melee. The reason for that is because bots use ranged, and I hate bots. So I use melee to counter that, to go and kill them. But uh, but the range dungeon is going to be really, really cool. When it finally comes out, they kind of went silent on it for a while, and I'm not sure why. Hopefully, you know, everything's running smoothly. Um, I mean, Jagex operates like a machine. The way they pump out high quality updates now is very impressive. I don't know. I'm just all around impressed, considering, you know, a few years ago, people will say, if they've been playing that long, that, yeah, I mean, it seems like they would pump out a new quest every week. Well, now the kind of quests they make are just way higher quality. It's just different, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm ranting a little bit, but, uh, but excited for the range dungeon. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to it, and I hope that's what it is. It also sounds like we'll be getting some news about RS3 soon, which is cool, right? They talked, they suggested that RS3 would come out in the summer, but the summer is a few months long. We don't know when that would be. I've been on the beta recently. It's actually running better, which is a good sign because it would be difficult to get a new computer, you know, put all that in. Yeah, it's tough. So I'm kind of like waiting and seeing. Someone in the comments actually pointed out the same sentiment that maybe, they're trying to work and improve um, the game so that it runs better on everybody's computer, older computers. But this one's about 5 years old. It's getting up there. It's getting to that time. Gosh, I don't really want to do it, but at the same time, it would be great. So I'm not sure. I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But it is running a little bit better, a little bit better. Overall, I find the quality of the way it looks is better, which is cool. I mean, it seems like they actually took player advice and buffed the colors. I mean, just overall the saturation of the colors looks a little bit better. Maybe a bit too bright in some areas, but I mean, it's going to be something they continue to work on. I don't know. Anyways, it's going to be a new month soon. We're going to have a whole new behind the scenes. Like I said, I think the first week's update will be the range dungeon, and I'm going to leave it there. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you later.